Hey guys, Indie Game Judge here. This is going to be my latest judgment. It is Game Dev Tycoon. So this little gem has been created by Greenheart Games, and their goal is to show you the tough life and the hard ups and downs and challenging obstacles that a game developer faces. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you my. I'll just start a brand new company for you. I've actually played through this game quite far. I've got a big, massive company, but I will show you that a bit later. So I'll just get the tutorial and start a brand new company. So you can customize it a little bit. It's not that important. Customize your person, girl, guy, hairstyle, all that kind of stuff. Once you get through that, just replace the old one. You can get right into it. So this game, as you probably guessed, is about making games. So the process of making games is actually quite simple. So you can go ahead to the action menu by clicking, and then click develop new game. So you can name your games whatever you want. You can come with something original, or you can rip off an already existing game. So, for example, if I wanted to make a medieval game, I could call it, let's see, Knights of Darkness. I know, I'm so creative, aren't I? No, but honestly, the name doesn't matter. So let's make it a adventure game. And we're going to have different consoles and whatever. And we've actually started in 1980. So as time goes on, consoles will be released in real time. For example, when we reach present day, then, or close to present day anyway, then there'll be then the iPhone will be released. A few years before that, the PS3 will be released, etc., etc. So let's just do it on the G64. So you can have different features of your game, and when you actually be able to create your own game engine and add and then put new features into the engine, and then have features from the engine implemented into your game, which will cost more or less money depending on how much you're willing to spend. But I think I'll start it off with a 2D game, which costs a bit more than a text-based game, but I think it is worth it. So this is the basic game development process. As you make bigger games, you'll have to have like bigger offices so you can hire more people and then manage your staff between the different tasks. But for now, all you have to worry about is time allocation. So how much time do you want to allocate on different factors? So for example, since it's an adventure game, I think gameplay is pretty important, as well as story and quests, and engine not as much. If you're making, for example, a Call of Duty ripoff, then you probably want to lower story and quests, but increase engine. So we just got a little dude typing away here. We get these bubbles, these design and tech bubbles. So basically, a good game is determined by high design and tech points, as well as current trends. For example, like what target audience is popular, young, mature, or everyone, which you'll be able to add a little later, as well as what current genres are popular, or something like that, or any, for example, special events. So now, dialogues is pretty important, level design is pretty important as well, a bit more, and artificial intelligence less so. Again, in a Call of Duty game, you'd probably want the artificial intelligence much higher and the dialogues much lower. So your sales of the game are basically determined on how well your review scores are, how many fans you have, as well as how much you've marketed it. So hype is another thing that we'll get into a little bit later. So graphics, world design, and sound allocated as such. And bubbles go in. We developed a few bugs here. We can let those run out, but every month that goes by, we have to pay money for our monthly costs. So you may not be able to spend too much time on bugs, but you also got to make the game come out relatively fast. Otherwise, you're going to be in the hole. If you're in the hole, if you get far enough down, you'll have to get a bank loan, and if you lose that, then you're bankrupt. Never a fun thing. So our first reviews have come in. Let's see what they got. So, not too bad. Pretty good for our first game. 6s and 7s, not too bad. Around average. Well, a little bit higher than average, I'd say. But not for our first game, that is. That is a 6 average. That's pretty good for our first game. Later, That is not as good as you might be hoping when you are in the red. So we've already, let's see what sales we got. So we have sold around 4.6k units. So that's not too bad. We've made 31 fans in our first week. Again, not pretty good. And then, do you have time to sit around and dilly-dal? Well, let's just see our game here. 6. Yeah, it cost 46 to make. We've already made 51k, and it's not off the market yet. So far we've made 5k, but we will make more. So there's no time to dilly-dal. Let's make our new game. Actually, first, before we do that, we can research new things using our research points. For example, let's make a new topic. So let's say I wanted to make a fantasy game. So I can research that as a new topic. So this game is very entertaining, very fun. The premise is fairly simple, but it does express the joy, the crazy ride of indie game developers' life quite well, I'd say. There's all kinds of things going on. There can be events. There can be like a E3 convention, or G3 as it is in this game. So let's create a fantasy. There's different events that can happen, such as some of your fans have made a fan version of the game, but so your legal advisors suggest that you sue them, and if you sue them, you'll make money, but you'll lose fans. But if you go ahead and let them, then you'll make fans, but you'll lose money. So it's up to you. There's constantly things that are going on, and the farther you get in the game, the more complicated the process of game developing becomes. So let's make a Final Fantasy ripoff. So instead of Final Fantasy, we'll call it the First Fantasy. Incredibly creative. I can't imagine how unbelievably creative I am. I know. But in all seriousness, though, it really doesn't matter what your name is, as long as it's not game number 2. So it's an RPG, so starting quest is pretty high, gameplay is slightly lower, and engine lower as well. So it made us 101k our last game, which is fairly good. So dialogue is higher, artificial intelligence lower, just level design higher. Again, if you're making like a Call of Duty game, artificial intelligence would definitely be a lot higher, and then dialogues would be a lot lower. So this game has quite a lot of content, I'd say, for than a lot more than you expect. It's fairly cheap. It's only around 10, I think maybe $7 or $8. I can't quite remember. It'll be in the description. And it is a fun little game. It's packed with Easter eggs. Lots of cool stuff happens when you get a big office, hire lots of staff members so they can become specialists, and then each one works for a specific, for example, slider. And so again, let's just wrap this game up here. So it's got lots of charm. I have a few little problems with it. For example, I'd like you'd be able to name your games a little longer, or the fact that the review scores, they don't really tell you what's wrong with your game, so sometimes you can't really correct your mistakes. Or also that you can only have 6 staff plus yourself. I'd much rather have more, so that you could have like one for every other one in the 9s, one for all of the 9 sliders. But still, it is a very fun game, and for such a cheap price, you can't really go wrong with this little gem. So I'm just gonna go ahead and load my main company here just to show you what it's like. If you don't want any spoilers, just skip ahead a little bit for my big review, my own review scores. So as you can see, it can have lots more stuff going on the farther you get. We're in the future now. Got a big office, lots of staff members. They're all specialists. I can make MMOs. I can create my own custom engines. It really becomes quite a big, very advanced game as time goes on. And the greatest part about the game, I definitely say, is the emotional thrill ride, the roller coaster that it takes you on. And you really truly do feel for your company. You really do will it to survive, and you desperately need it to survive. And you can get very frustrated when it goes bankrupt and you're forced to start again. You can obviously load a save, but if it's just too doomed, then you may be forced to start over. But that's all in the fun of it. So yeah, this game Overall, guys, I give this game a 9. A couple little problems with it, but overall, it's really hard to go wrong with it. You should definitely check it out if you're even mildly interested in game development, or just want to try a crack at the crazy world of game development. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you found this video at least not a complete waste of your time, informative, enjoyable, etc., etc. And I will see you next time.